Hey guys, Luke for the Matias Group again, here today in Mitch's office from Unify Services over in Port Melbourne. Hello sir, good afternoon.
Likewise Luke, see you again.
Mitch is a great friend of ours and a great business colleague, and we have fun and we bring a lot of value to our network. So Mitch is in a space of IT that is, we've worked together for a while and I still don't really know what he does, so I'm looking forward to learning a lot today. It is in a space called business intelligence. It is big data. There is all sorts of areas that I would love you to explain so that laymen like me and many others, I'm sure,
yes,
can navigate their way through.
Make it a little bit easier. Get rid of the jargon.
Get rid of the jargon. Throw that out of the window.
And just talk about return on investment and real value to businesses.
Fantastic. That is what we like the sound of. Unify Services. Founder, how long have we been around?
Yeah, 3 years, just over 3 years. I co-founded Unify Services with one of my colleagues from Telstra. We left the big corporate land to try and do things a little bit better, a little bit differently than everyone else does.
Sounds good.
And yeah, the BI space, the business intelligence analytics space, we knew that was growing, and we used the tools in the corporate space, and we knew the mid-market was very much ripe to actually start getting some of these benefits. And in the past, it used to be a very, very high cost of entering that market space with the tools that were around. Now, the price is a lot more easier to digest by companies. And we really do take out the hype. We don't talk about big data, we don't talk about BI, we talk about reporting automation, just the simple things that every other business struggles with. Having lots of manual reporting and just drowning in Excel spreadsheets.
Excel spreadsheets, I love Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah, well,
getting rid of them.
We're getting rid of Excel spreadsheets, so we get rid of human error.
Okay.
We get rid of all the pivot tables and time wasting that Excel spreadsheets create. We also give back the control to the business in terms of the information.
Yeah,
Excel spreadsheet, you send it out, and that data's gone, right? With the tools that we provide our customers, there's a lot more control around who sees the data, and it's also self-service reporting. So it means that it's not reporting just on a weekly or a monthly or an annual basis, but you can actually look at your business, the insights and the things that really make the business tick on a daily basis, and you can do that from your phone, from your iPad or your computer, anywhere in the world.
How do you know when the right time is to go out and find a product like this? So let's take it way back. I've got Excel spreadsheets in my business. I think 5-10 years ago we had plenty of them, Excels and Excels, and I didn't even know what a pivot table stood for or meant. When's the right time? What are the key things to remember? I mean, is there a stage where I log into my third Excel spreadsheet for the day and think, I should do something about this? I mean, what are the key points?
Great question, Luke. Look, a lot of customers come to us because they have 1, 2, 3 staff that are constantly in Excel, and they just spend hours a day. So what we do is we try and calculate how many hours a day, a week, people are using reporting Excel to do their reporting in, and that generally can correlate to a very easy return on investment. So if, for example, a business is spending $100,000 a year on a person doing actual reporting, we might be able to automate that for a quarter of that $100,000 with some ongoings. So yeah, it's most of the times it will just be customers that have been drowning in Excel. And the other thing that happens with a lot of people are so busy creating these spreadsheets and these reports, but there's no one really analysing them and getting the real insights out of them, because they're just very flat, monolithic sort of things that have been around forever. So for us, what we do is, as part of the consultancy, is make sure that we're reporting the right things and for the right reasons, and challenging the customer from that perspective, making sure that they're being accountable to themselves. And also making sure that when these reports are actually being consumed, we can measure who's consuming them for how long, and that there are some actions out of them as well. So there's a whole consulting. Who's
consuming them for how long, in terms of your staff or potential clients?
No, so that's for the customer. So once we've rolled out the solution to the customer, so the solution that we provide our customers in most cases is called Tableau. Tableau is a market leader. They've been around for over 10 years. They're very much about self-service reporting and drop and drag type reporting. So you don't have to understand the ins and outs of Excel. So we will get to the data source, pull the data into Tableau, which will create a visual report, and then people with the right permissions will be able to see the things they need to see. So marketing will get marketing data, finance, financial data. So depending on your controls within your organisation.
And we've got a great range in our network of sole traders. We've got big public entities. What sort of size do you need to be doing this sort of stuff? Is there a right time? Is it cost effective once you hit a certain barrier?
Great question. Look, on an average, a rollout is around $25,000. It can be even less than that. We've had other customers, small customers, turning over a couple of $1 million a year, where we deploy for $5,000.
Yep.
So it's not, and for them it's been amazing because they've gone from literally hours of manual reporting to understand what their business was doing, the health of the business. We've found from a small business perspective, we've built our own proprietary Xero to Tableau connector, so Xero accounting is very popular. We're most likely going to build an MYOB one as well. So instead of just having the standard reporting that comes out of Xero, you can get a visualized dashboard, and you can actually start connecting it to other data sources. So Xero is really great for invoicing, but you might have a CRM or an ERP solution, all these other solutions sitting on the side, and you want to be able to correlate what is actually going on in your business. So, you know, your ROI, invoice, if you're sending out and you're doing jobs and you're invoicing, what's the actual time between invoicing, and really having the pulse on your business in a visual, actionable way.
And so you say $25,000 just then. It seems for some small businesses it's quite hard to palate. Is this just plug-in sort of software? Can it be used on your regular Mac or Microsoft?
Definitely. Look, 25,000 is for a business, you know, that's turning over 10 million plus. That sort of range.
It's just pure software license.
It's a software license with some deployment costs. So $25,000 is actually most of that's going to be 15 to 20,000 will be in the professional services component to actually connect the data sources, replicate all the reports, and help the customer use it. And then there'll be, depending on how many users they want, will depend on how many licenses, and that's an annual subscription model. But if a small business like...
What can you do with that annual subscription model?
Well, the great thing is that there's a person by the name of Matias from the Matias group that has started doing wonderful software financing. So
horrendous self-plug there, but thank you very much.
No. And this is why we're here. Let's be honest. It makes it easy and makes $20,000 much more palatable when you can do it on over 24 or 36 months. So we would bundle the licenses and professional services all together. But like I said, we've got customers that are turning over a couple of $1 million, and we've rolled out Tableau for $5,000, and that includes professional services and the actual licenses as well.
So that's a small business.
That's a very small business.
And did it make a difference to them? So our friends who have got maybe a small salon or whatever it might be, it's a small business.
It's more businesses that have getting a lot of data. So the businesses
finance companies, sole trader businesses who are out there on the market.
Correct. People that are managing a lot of accounts and trying to understand the pulse of the business, having the finger on the pulse all the time. So small businesses that are doing a lot of logistics or importing, exporting, but there's a lot of transactions, there's a lot of information, and it's coming from a lot of different places, and they're like, wow, okay, so we'll bring all of that data into a single conformative view for.
Yeah, fantastic. Now that all seems wonderful, the automation almost of spreadsheets and Excel and getting rid of the evil and bringing in the joyous, good-looking dashboards and things like that. But you also, what we've also worked on with some of our larger clients, you've got a whole range and it just grows. This whole space just grows, right?
Yeah.
So tell us briefly about what you can do for big-ticket retailers in terms of analysis of their clients.
Yeah.
This is a space I'm amazingly interested in.
Yeah. So one of our largest customers would be Energy, which is Shell. For their Shell-branded service stations, we actually have products called Cisco Meraki and Purple for analytics. So that gives them the ability to actually get customers to log onto their Wi-Fi to get free Wi-Fi in certain locations, and also to then the customer, the way that they get the Wi-Fi is by logging through their Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. Our customers, our retail customers, pull that data out, and they can actually get a really good picture of the demographic, how long people are staying there. So we have other retailers as well in furniture. They want to understand the dwell time of the different people that are coming in. So so even if they don't log onto the Wi-Fi, we know how long an individual has been in the store.
So I go to a furniture store,
Yeah.
and I sit by the nice Chesterfields. So that's you're gonna know I'm sitting.
Yeah, we'll know what area you've been in, correct, and for how long, so that you can better or more strategically place the items that you want to sell, or high value items, or bigger GP items. You can then also track the layout of the customers, how they walk in and where they go. For example, also you could have, you might say your sales, you make 500 sales, okay, and but you had 5,000 people that came in. So potentially that might not be a really good return. So you might not have had enough staff to actually service all those people. So having an understanding of the actual ratio of staff, and that's the key one. We usually can save customers with lots of retail spaces, up to $30,000 to $50,000 per location per annum in rostering.
Yeah. Because
we're making rostering so much more intuitive. In the past, it was just door counters. Door counters, they don't really work. They're way out, right? They could be out by 20, 30, 40%, just your staff walking in and out. Here, we can actually identify an individual as well if they've gone to one of your stores and then to another one of the same branches 5 kilometres down the road. We can actually identify that.
It's incredible. It's incredible. It's like when you when you search something on Google and you jump onto your Facebook and that thing follows you. It's like you're taking that technology from the virtual space into the real spaces. It's so interesting to see.
It's your phone, really.
Yeah.
Or even an Apple Watch, for example. Anything that has a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth connection, 3G, 4G, it emits signals.
Yep.
So we're just picking up the signals, identifying them with that unique MAC address, and we know that person, we don't know the name or where they live, but we know it's a unique person that has visited your store.
Yep.
And then we can plan, and your rostering better, you can plan a lot of other things. You can, from a marketing perspective, if you've had a marketing campaign, you've spent a lot of time and money on radio or television advertising, you want to see that it's actually reflecting in terms of people coming through the door. And then you might have a spike in people coming through the door, but not actual sales. And then you've got to figure out what's going on there.
Yeah.
But unless you've really got accurate information on that, it's very hard to make business decisions.
Where is this going? I mean, 5 years ago, if we had this conversation, people would think we're nuts.
Yeah.
Where are we? Where are we going to be in another 2, 3, 5 years' time? I mean, is there is there a direction that you guys on the inside see us going? How far is this going to?
Yeah, definitely. So look, we're looking at a lot of other AI and Internet of Everything technologies as well.
Yeah.
So more and more things are being plugged in, right? SIM card, like in Australia, there's maybe 30 million mobile subscribers. That'll probably go to a couple of 100 million in the next 10 years plus, because more people will have more devices that are connected. So, which means more data needs to be analysed. In the health space, there's a lot of AI, but so is in retail. How do you actually market to the right person, the right items that you want to sell? Right? So, and whether people like it or not, unfortunately, more and more people are leaving a very, very vast digital footprint. Whether it's Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever it might be, there is a lot of information that people are just leaving there, and they're not really looking at the T's and C's.
Yep. So
we all know what's happened with Facebook, and there's been new laws and regulations in Australia introduced in February. So if you're a company trading over $3 million, the fines can be, first fine for data breach or data loss of personal information can be as high as $750,000. Now, if you're a small business,
if you're 3 million turnover and
you
for 25% of your turnover, that hurts.
Correct.
So you've got to protect your data.
Correct, and that's what we do. One of our key parts of our businesses as well, helping customers understand the value of their data. A lot of people just don't know that it's valuable. So we help them understand, the value of the data, who has it, where it is, who has access to it, not just from their staff, but partners and people they work with. So in health, before we do any significant work in the analytics space, we really have to understand how the security policies and structures work, because we don't want to leave. And the beauty of going to things like Tableau is that you're going away from Excels, which are very difficult to control, to something that you can actually control because it has security policies on it, and you can have controls which you can say, okay, marketing can only see marketing information, accounts can only see accounts. and you only make the report once. You don't have to make 5 reports, one for marketing, one for operations, one for HR. You just do one report, and then you just say, okay, only marketing people can see marketing data, only ops.
Yep.
So that saves more time again in the reporting cycle.
Now going back to retail, so we've got a great network in retail. We've got obviously our wooden hanger fashion agency. Retail's in a space where we don't know where it's going to be in 5 years' time, with the big Amazon coming across the sea and threatening to disrupt everything. Do you have any advice? Can you help small retailers, small boutiques? What can we do to be? What can they do to be proactive against losing the next generation of clients to digital shopping? Do you have anything that?
Definitely. I think the customer experience, it's coming back to the customer experience. Everything's always coming back, and this is where our solution is really great for that, because it makes sure that the ratios of your staff to customers are right. Because if you don't get that right, like in the past, retailers would just go, well, Monday to Friday, they don't do anything, and then they're flat out over the weekend. But now we can actually track by a minute of the day how your foot traffic is going, and making sure that at the right time we have the right ratio of customers, so that they're not waiting there for 5, 10, 15 minutes without without any service. And that is going to be the differentiator from what we see, and what we see at trade shows and conferences. It's very much that experience. It's about making someone feel good, making someone not wait, and making sure that the experience is right.
And in that sector, there is Joe's Boutique or something, or the Johnny's Jeans. Is there a cost-effective method for them to sort of realise some of this data, so that goes down to that smaller item and becoming attainable?
Definitely, it is. The technology, the costs of that type of technology hardware is dropping at a rapid rate. Okay, so we don't need to sell a customer the big picture stuff that's fully integrated into everything. It might just be that, hey guys, we might take you away from door counters, like the very arbitrary door counters that have been around for 50 years, to something a little bit more digital, something that actually does give you that unique perspective on your customers and how long they actually hang around your store, and are you actually converting enough?
It's such an interesting space we're working in here. I love learning about it. I'm a complete novice to it all, but it's so interesting how you can use digital to bring people back into bricks and mortar, and just be on top of the game. You have to be listening to this, otherwise the industry's going to fall from your feet, and you don't know why, because you've not analysed the data telling you it's going to fall.
Yeah, exactly. And look, we've got solutions that can be as low as $5 a day, and which Matias Group will kindly finance and take care of everything. But it can be as low as $5 a day for a very simple solution, which is pretty much a latte these days, or cappuccino. But it gives you real information on your customers and what's actually going on in your space. And then,
you've got to be aware. You've got information. These days, 2018, you have to be aware of what that information means, where it's going, and make the most of it, because otherwise you're going to be in some real trouble moving forward. And that's in any industry, isn't it?
Correct. Look, the retail space, we knew that for our point of difference, we've got our new managing director comes from 20 years of retail experience, so he knows exactly what it takes to run bricks and mortar stores. He went from a couple to 50 within the space of 5 years. Online, so the whole omni-channel that people keep talking about, well, it really means having an understanding of what's going on your online experience and your bricks and mortar experience, and in relation to your advertising dollar. So the person that we've brought in really understands what it takes to thrive in retail. In his own business, they went from a couple of $1 million to $200 million turnover within the space of 10 years. So he knows from that experience of what you need to, the levers you need to pull and push. And the exciting proposition for him to come into a software company like ours was very much having all these toys, let's call them, in some respects, and tools that he didn't have in the past, and being able to go and sell them back to retailers.
Perfect. He knows the path, and now he's got the tools and toys.
And
now he can help others.
And it's the actions that, this is good. It's great to have all these things, but if you don't know what to do with them afterwards, it's kind of, that's fantastic. But the reality is that we're there to actually go on a journey with the retailer and say, okay, what are we going to do with this information? Once we've got these insights, how are we going to utilise them and leverage them to actually grow sales?
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of our competitors do that. They focus just on selling the piece of software and the equipment without having the actual understanding of the landscape and being in there in the cold face, actually. You know,
Transaction versus relationship. Transaction versus the long game. Yeah. Look, I love when we sit down and chat, Mitch. Thank you so much for having me in your office today. I'm always a lot smarter when I leave your office as opposed to when I walk in. I really appreciate it, and we'll throw all the social handles and links and things like that. Get in touch with us. If you need to know more about your business and know more about what those numbers mean and how to make the most of them, it's just something that you've got to have a look at. It's incredible technology. Make the most of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Good to see you again.
Absolutely.
Thank you.